So, what about those microtransactions, Activision? You may remember late last year, a little bit after Call of Duty Black Ops 4 came to the market, Activision decided to put microtransactions into the game. They didn't initially put microtransactions into Black Ops 4 because they wanted the initial impressions of the game to be received very well. They wanted to make consumers very happy about the game, and they knew consumers would be super happy about the game if they didn't put microtransactions into the game, because as we know, as gamers and the gaming industry does not like microtransactions. So that's what Activision did. But then they said, nope, most people probably who are going to buy the game are initially going to buy the game. It was received well, and a lot of people liked Black Ops 4. And now is the time to pull the trigger on these microtransactions. That's where the problem started to persist. The problem really started to take action when they started to put these microtransactions into the game. And some of these microtransactions were just really bizarre, really weird, and you can see the desperation with Activision with a lot of these different microtransactions. Like one of the biggest and stupid microtransactions that was actually in Black Ops 4 was a red dot sight. Yes, this red dot sight was nearly $1 to pay for this, and the funny thing is, it was literally just a red dot on your screen for the gun sight, and that's absolutely pathetic for a company to go ahead and release a cosmetic as simple as a red dot sight into their video games for $1. That just shows how desperate, and they know people are going to buy these types of things in their different types of video games. So Activision was like, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and put this red dot sight into Black Ops 4, and indeed they did. You can buy this red dot sight in Black Ops 4 right now for your hard-earned dollar, instead of like going to the grocery store or buying like a can of corn or a can of mixed vegetables. Nope, they want you to go ahead and buy this thing for just $1. But it looks like the problem's actually getting worse with Activision. Activision's actually trying to pull another one on us. I'm talking about they actually put another site into the game. This time the site in the game is actually a smiley face site. So if you want a smiley face site on your gun, you can actually get it right now. They just released it fairly recent for your guns in Call of Duty. And take note that all of these gun sites for your gun are just cosmetics. They don't actually make you play better. They don't actually give you any advantage. They're just pretty much cosmetic sights for your gun if you want it. Now this one is a step up above the red dot sight, because this one is actually a dot sight that's actually going to cost you $2. So the justification here is, instead of having a small red dot on your screen, you're actually going to have a smiley face on your gun sight when you use your gun in Call of Duty. And also on top of that, it gets even worse. It looks like Activision was actually pretty cheap on this whole smiley face sight in Black Ops 4, because they actually took this smiley face sight from the previous Call of Duty games. You can see here's some images of Black Ops 1, and then here's another one of Black Ops 3. You can see in Black Ops 3 the gun sight was a little bit different. It kind of had like a curve to the smiley face, but you can see Black Ops 1 and then Black Ops 4 are all too similar, and it looks like also they kind of made this one a little bit worse than some of the other Call of Duty smiley face sites. So you can see it looks like they pretty much just cheaped out on this, and it was pretty much an easy way for Activision to get a couple of bucks out of you. They knew that this thing was already a skin in some of the other games. This site was already available. They knew that it was going to be easy to just port over. They already had everything ready, and that's pretty much what you're getting. You're pretty much getting a site from Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 ported over to Black Ops 4, and it's not a free site. You actually have to pay $2 of your hard-earned dollars for this site. You can see just how crazy Activision is willing to go in their video games to try to milk you for all you got, and it's really no surprise. Activision's been doing a lot of shady things in the gaming industry. This is not the first time they've done this. It just really goes to show you what type of game company Activision is. Activision's willing to try anything. They're not really for the consumer. They're really anti-consumer, because why would they want to flood all their games with microtransactions? It's not really good for the gaming industry. You know, gamers don't like this type of thing. Overall, it's just not really a good vibe, and you can see how desperate Activision is. Activision only cares about money. But to be honest, if you ask me personally, I can kind of understand where Activision is coming from, because I know Activision makes a lot of bank off of these microtransactions. You hear these reports from year to year always talk about how microtransactions in video games as a whole do really well, and there's people out there who are still supporting these bad microtransactions in video games. Really, all we have to blame is ourselves for this, because there's always couple of people out there that will always go out of the way to purchase these microtransactions in video games, and a lot of the times these are unnecessary microtransactions. Like you look at these dots in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and these aren't really good skins. There's such a thing as good microtransactions and bad microtransactions, and in this case, the microtransactions in this game aren't that great, especially the dot sites, the red dot site for $1, and now the smiley face site for $2. It's just not getting great. They're just trying to really get free money out of you, and they know there's just a couple of people out there that they can keep milking and milking and milking for all they're got, and they'll keep pulling this stunt as long as they're making money on these bad microtransactions in video games. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.